To no one will we sell, to no one deny or delay right or justice.
Anything you like, be free. Oh, he winces, regroups.
Imagine taking away women's right to vote.
And reader, I left him. I also left the door of the freezer open.
High walls, built to keep you out, not in.
First, release the princess. Throw open the castle gates.
You're on a mission, she says. A mission to free Darby.
He walked to the edge of the river, peered upstream, downstream, then nodded. Yes, I thought so. Well, we're here. Finally, Bennett said. He knelt down and opened the tackle box and began selecting a float, pinching together lead shot beneath his stubby fingers. So, do you see it? Bennett's grandad nodded at the river. What? I said. That? There. I followed his gaze. But there was only the slow shift of the river and the flickering silver blue dance of the reflected sky. I don't see anything. Bennett's grandad grinned wildly, like I'd said exactly the right thing. Yes, he said, that's the point. Wait, Bennett said. You mean we just walked a mile across a bloody field to look at something that isn't here? Language, lad, his grandad said. Although you're right in a way, blood may have been spilled here because of that. He nodded again. Something that isn't here, I said. Exactly, he said. Then, when he'd held the moment as long as he could without looking weird, well, weirder at least, he rubbed his hands together and chuckled. As far as I can make out from local records, this used to be the site of a fish weir.
Now remember, said Endersby, the magic ends at midnight. If you're not back by then, you'll be leaving your knackers in that tray. Hassan smiled. He says that to all the girls. Try and be a good boy now. Yes, boss. Fry grinned and gave them a thumbs up. They let him out via the airlock. Sudden oxygen. A drizzle-flecked car park dotted with staff wheels. It was a short walk to the barrier, past the HMP logo, then a longer trudge to the bus stop, where half a dozen day releases were already waiting. Grown men with hardened lives and hardened bodies, joshing like teenagers. After the bus ride, a railway carriage. Cooling towers looming over the fens. Civilian commuters clutching at their bags, staring at the floor or out of the window, anywhere but at the day releases lolling on adjoining seats. Their banter wrapped up a notch for the occasion, loving the effect they were having on a world that had shut them up for so long. He sat with the group, keeping silent. An old lady caught his eye. He shook his head and smiled. She turned away, relieved. An elbow poked his ribs. Where you gonna day, pretty boy? It was Gannon, local lad, multiple GBH. College reunion, said Fry. Gannon shook his mangy head and smiled. Well, I'll be buggered. So am I. Small world, said Fry.
It's called Pearls Over Shanghai. He spends his last night in the Castro at a Coquette's review. The man beside says he knew Sylvester, says he knew Tom Gunn, and he is impressed. Impressed by septuagenarian drag queen thumping keys, impressed by crotchless harem pants, impressed by a heart-trimmed dominatrix whipping straights. He's invited to watch a film, but it's far too late already for flying tomorrow. He walks back past auto shops, Mondrian, feeling strong.
The joke was that I'd mistaken a dismay of ragbag rough sleepers for bargain hunters. Why else might someone curl up on the hard ground outside a department store? Stanley laughing was a bad sign. Too often his chuckles tended to slither into sneers and slaps. I had learnt it was best to say nothing, ask for nothing, for I did indeed need nothing. I belonged beside the Arga, while the city was Stanley's domain. Up west was not for the likes of me, apart from the annual November hell of a Masonic ladies' night. Ironically, it was an overnight Masonic jamboree that gave me the idea. All the wives had a spa session, while their other halves bared their calves in ceremonial bonding games. Embarrassed by my lumpen flesh, I declined massages and the like, but found delight in hiding my flab in the steam room or submerged in the glorious hot tub before huddling beneath a fluffy, free white towel upon a lounger. I fell asleep, and when I woke I thought, I could live like this.
And so I pratfall down the smooth-worn stone steps of the throne room, trip into the tapestries and croon my nincompoop nursery songs to the 5-year-old heir, Simon, who is the only person in court who can truly appreciate them on my level. And I am content. I believe myself to be alone in this among King Behane's immediate circle. Queen Angess loathes her crass husband. Lord Edric envies and plots against him, and everyone else soils themselves in fear of him. We have all learned to tremble at his deadly sudden rages, his baseless accusations of treachery, levelled, as far as I can tell, at random victims only to keep the rest of his subjects on their toes, and his cruel delight in violent blood sports. Many wish King Kenneth alive again, but under their breath, and not for long, if Behane catches wind of it. Kenneth was clever, but weak, my lord is fond of saying. Always had his head in a book, so one day I made sure he left it there. Queen Angess has learned to laugh at this feeble joke, even though it is at the expense of her murdered husband. The listener who does not split his sides at King Behane's sallies will have them split for him.
Wigton Bay, 1685. 2 women are tied to posts at the mouth of the Beatnik stream to stand till the flood overflows them and they drown. By the time the seawater swells the channels of Beatnik and Cree, runs through the cracks in salt marsh blocks, covers the purslane and samphire, the arrowgrass, scurvy grass, aster, the women's mouths and lungs will be full, and the psalms the young one was singing stoppered. The blizzard of Arctic birds that wintered on the Merse are moving on. A few grey lags pluck the grass, the white-cheeked barnacles have gone, and the last lines of pinkfoot drift across the sky, heading for Greenland. Craters of shell cling under the driftwood, seaweed streaming downwards from open mouths, life hanging. At sunrise, the hunter lowers his gun as 2 geese break through the water's sheen. Underwings gleaming, they wheel into the sun.
He was protesting up and down Friendly Street, a demonstration against the new immigration laws.
But we made our own liberation the best way we could. If we had the pill, we'd have been unstoppable, she says.
This used to be the site of a fish weir.
Never apologise, never hide, never let hate be unopposed.